Executing Python scripts with a shebang. I'm Emmanuel, and I'm happy to be your guide through this course. If you're fairly new to Python or even experienced, and have had the privilege of reading some Python code written by other developers, you might have spotted the shebang at some point. The syntax for a Python shebang looks something like this, written either in a form, #, an exclamation mark, /usr, /bin, /python3, or #, exclamation mark, /usr, /bin, /env, space, python3. If you've seen any of these before and wondered what it is and why it's included in certain scripts, this course will help with that. By the end of this course, you'll understand how the shebang is used to specify the Python interpreter path for executing scripts, what types of scripts benefit the most from using a shebang, how to define portable shebangs, environment-specific limitations of the shebang and its alternatives, and best practices when using the shebang. So the next time you see the shebang in a script, you'll understand its purpose, and not just that, you start to use it well yourself. For this course, it will be helpful to already have basic familiarity with the command line and how to run Python scripts from it. If you need a guide, there are some courses here on Real Python that can help with that. One is this tutorial, Build Command Line Interfaces with Python's argpass. In this tutorial, you'll learn about the argpass module and how it helps to build command line interfaces. Another is a tutorial, How to Run Your Python Scripts and Code. In this tutorial, you'll learn various methods for executing Python scripts in different environments and platforms. Links to these are provided in the slides in the Additional Resources section, along with sample code files used in this course. With that sorted, you can get started in the next lesson. The shebang is a small but incredibly powerful element used when running executable scripts. The term shebang refers to the # and exclamation mark, hence the name shebang. It's also sometimes called a hashbang. And wherever you find a shebang, it's usually followed by the path to an interpreter such as Python, Bash, or Perl. The shebang plays a crucial role in script execution in Unix-based operating systems like Linux and macOS. When a Unix operating system shell tries to execute a script, if it starts with a # and an exclamation mark, the rest of that line is taken to be the path to an interpreter program that should be used to execute that script. Now, why is this shebang line important? Without the shebang, if you try to execute a Python script directly from the command line, for certain cases where you might need to make a script executable on its own. For example, you had a script called script.py and want to call this without using the Python or Python3 command. If you do this and don't have a shebang, the operating system's shell might not know how to handle it, which can lead to errors or unexpected behavior. I'll give you a cooking analogy if you're into cooking. Imagine you have a recipe written in a specific language, say Spanish. If someone who only speaks English tries to read it directly, they won't understand the instructions, would they? But if you specify within the recipe a note saying this recipe needs to be translated by a Spanish speaker, the recipient can then hand it to the right person for proper execution. The shebang acts like that little note for your Python scripts. It tells the operating system shell, hey, to run this Python file, you need to use the Python interpreter located at a specific path. Use it to run the rest of this file. The typical syntax for a Python shebang looks something like this, #, exclamation mark, /usr, /bin, /python3. /user, /bin, /python3 is usually the absolute path to the Python interpreter in a Unix-based operating system. So whenever you execute a Python script from the terminal, if it has a shebang, the system knows exactly which interpreter to use. A quick note, when using the shebang, for it to work as intended, it must be placed at the very first line of your script, at the top, with no spaces and blank lines above it. Now, when might you need the shebang? If you're working in a Unix-like operating system, like Linux and macOS, you might need the shebang if you want your Python script to be directly executable, or you want to ensure the correct interpreter is used automatically on script execution. The shebang is a Unix-based convention. That is, it's only applicable in Unix-based operating systems like Linux and macOS. In a Windows terminal and environment, it means nothing and is seen as just an ordinary comment. So if you're on Windows and you want the same effect in a Windows environment, that is, specifying the interpreter to be used, you need to install Windows Subsystem for Linux, WSL. This comes with a Unix shell, and there the shebang can be used. Alternatively, Windows lets you make what is called a global file association between a file extension like .py Python files and programs like the Python interpreter. This is how you can achieve a similar effect to the shebang. There are links in the slides that show you how to install Windows Subsystem for Linux and also how file association in Windows work, and you can follow these links to learn more about these topics if interested. Great! By now, you should have a fair understanding of what the shebang is and why it's important. In the coming lessons, you get into more practical exploration of the shebang. In the last lesson, you learned in theory what the shebang is. In this lesson, you'll get into some practicals. To follow along properly with the rest of this course, you need a Unix-based operating system, like Linux or macOS. If you are in a Windows environment, then you need Windows Subsystem for Linux and the shell that it provides. There are links in your slides, as discussed from the previous lesson, that shows you how to install this. I'm currently on macOS, so I'll be using my code editor's shell. You can follow along with any code editor of choice. I'll be using Visual Studio Code for the rest of this course. In your code editor, you'll start with creating a project folder to hold your code files. I'll use my file explorer and call mine examples. And then in it, create a Python script, which is a .py file. This I'll call script.py. So you should now have the folder and a Python script. To validate the importance of the shebang, you'll be executing a Python script directly to see what actually happens. In this script, you won't do much, just printing out a text in the terminal. So in here, you can have a print function with hello world. So you can say print, and in there, pass in string, hello world. With just this print function, head over to your terminal and you'll try to call this script directly to see what happens. Your shell should be able to execute scripts or text files that contains source code expressed in a high-level interpreted language like Python or JavaScript. So if I call examples/script.py, you would expect to see the result with the printed text, right? But no. Instead, you should see something like Z shell if you're in macOS or bash if you're in Linux, permission denied, and then the name of the script. This is because, for security reasons, files aren't made executable by default because they could be harmful. But you can solve this first encountered problem by making this script executable. And to do that, you can give the execute permission to this specified file. To see what permission state this file is in before granting the execute permission, in your terminal for Unix-based operating system, you can call the ls-l command on the script. For this particular script, I see -rw-r-r-r. Unix file permissions control who can read, write, or execute a file or directory. In this grouped series of characters, R is for read permission, W is for write permission, and X is for execute permission. So the permission string like -rwx, r-r shows read, write, and execute access for the owner, and then read access only for group, and finally read access only for others. The first character tells you the file type. If it's a dash, that's a regular file. If it's a D, that's a directory. And if it's an L, that's a symbolic link. And in Unix-based operating systems, to grant execute permissions to a file, you use the chmod plus X command. That is, chmod plus X, and then the name of the script. Now, back to your terminal. To make this script executable, you'd run chmod plus X, and then the name of the script, which in this case is examples/script.py. With this in place, if you check with the ls-l command again, now you should see -rwx, r-x, r-x. The X in each section signifies that this script is now executable for the owner, group, and others. And with that in place, you can go ahead to try to execute the script again. So now, call examples/script.py. After making the script executable and trying to run the script again, you should now get a different error, syntax error near unexpected token hello world. This is happening because your shell is assuming that your script is written in the corresponding shell language, that is, Z shell in my case, or bash if that's what you're using. The print function doesn't work the same way in bash because it's not a recognized bash or Z shell command, which is what is expecting in your file. The shell just executes your scripts with an assumption that it's using the corresponding shell language. Now to fix this, you know that this is a Python script, so you need to tell the shell to use the Python interpreter. And here is where the shebang shines. So in your script at the top, you can add the shebang, which is #, exclamation mark, /usr, /bin, /python3. Just by adding this at the top of your script, the shell should now know what interpreter to use. So if I call my script again, I get the expected result, hello world, printed in the terminal. Because now, the shell knows to use my specified Python interpreter to execute my Python scripts.